I called this meeting to an order at 5:35.
I second.
So moved.
All right, so Kathy, do we have to go ahead and approve the last SGA meeting, right? So has everyone gone through the last SGA meeting minute? All right, and so we'll go ahead and approve that one.
So moved.
Second.
Now you want to ask for any discussion.
Any discussion? No, all right, then I think we'll go ahead. So the last SGA meeting, November 3rd, has been approved. All right. Report from the Constitution Committee. No. Yes? No. All right. Ways and Means Committee. Anything from there?
I have nothing to report yet, but we're meeting almost at the end of the month with the members to talk about SGA in common space on Thursday of the last month.
Technically, your meeting is tomorrow because next Thursday is Thanksgiving. But you guys have no funding requests and there's no Ways and Means Constitution issues. So none of the committees have to meet tomorrow.
All right. Can we go ahead? All right. Student advisory, no, student trustee.
Yeah, hi everybody. So this trustee meeting, on top of a lot of like college-based, like the doings of the college, it was a huge focus on students. So I have a lot to talk about today. For the school side, the school talked. The president talked about how they received a lot of funding. There was an FY 22 grant of 122,000. They also got a grant from the Bar Association for north of $300,000. A lot of extra grants coming to the college, which is always good. They talked about the COVID vaccine and how COVID hasn't really been that big of a blow for enrollment. And through a bunch of other things, the college is doing really well. Now, for the big meat of the meeting, which was student success, which was on the mind of everyone there through the presentations, and specifically to the president himself. And Jim mentioned it specifically, as parents have many obstacles, and acknowledgement of that, and how this shift of perspective into what the students are going through is going to be charting the course of how the college itself is going to continue on through the 22 and the following years. A big part of that was through the presentations of awesome people, especially Jason, who talked about the success of the success fund, tongue twister there, headed by our very own Jason. So I don't know if you guys want to give it up to him. What this does is it supports students who aren't connected on campus or running through any of the grants or programs currently offered on campus. And it really helps the underserved, low-income students who don't qualify for the Pell Grant, first generation, and specifically non-native speakers. It has reached around 300 students on campus through Massachusetts alone, which is huge. So there's a lot of people who weren't initially covered up by a lot of the student services who are now falling in and keeping students on campus. This is also continued on through another position through our own Ann Reynolds in the C campus program. And what that does is acknowledges that 1/5 of students are parents and that they need support, so they don't have to choose between either becoming a good parent or a good student. They can do both. And the C campus program allows that by tackling problems like, what do I do with my kids have a sick day? Well, there's now a spot in the Family Resource Center where student parents can bring their kids in and have them sit in the class in the Student Resource Center and allow them to continue participating in class while also still looking after their kid. They talked about how homelessness and insecurity is a huge problem for a lot of students, and they're making progress towards tackling that, whether either through housing programs or through a lot of different additional programs. They're going to be a lactation center. In 2022, students are going to be allowed to bring their children on campus, which is a huge thing. I can't tell you how many times I had to stay home personally to look after my little brothers and sisters and not being able to make it to class. So have that space is going to be huge. Another presentation towards tackling the adversities facing students, especially student parents, is getting them through the door and making sure that the transition from being a non-student to a student as smooth as possible. This is achieved through onboarding programs like Handshakers, which are getting students used to being a student in the transition out of being college. So that was a huge thing on students and how well the school is doing. So if I missed anything, let me know, but it was heavy on the student support side.
Anything else? All right. Then we move to Student Advisory Council.
I guess that's also me for today. The Student Advisory Council has a meeting literally in 2 days on the 19th. As far as REPAC are already beginning to schedule, I'm on the SAC OER subcommittee, and we're already trying to organize ourselves to get ready for that. I assume the other subcommittees are doing the same. So there will be more to report, especially after the 19th, and especially after those subcommittees had a chance to meet.
All right. Student body liaison.
I don't have anything to report.
Academic Senate. Student Success Committee. No? All right. Academic Environment and Technology Committee.
That's me. That meeting is going to be on this upcoming Monday.
All College Forum. Other committees. Let's go to leadership team. Jason.
Sure. Thanks, Ernest. The only update that I have is a pretty big update. It's we are 3 days into course registration, and it's certainly an enrollment and registration cycle like no other, with our COVID vaccine mandate and policy in place. As of when I left the office at 4:30 today, 915 students had successfully uploaded their fully vaccinated documents. Another 44 students have submitted accommodation requests. The accommodation request process is a complicated and lengthy one, so that students are a little frustrated that they expect to hear an answer immediately, but that process is an individualized process. And looks at what the students are requesting, why they're requesting it, and what options are available. And it's also something that we need to run through our legal counsel, who they're trying to coordinate this process across 15 different community colleges that are also all unique. So we are in the process of handling those accommodation requests and uploading those documents. So I'm impressed with the numbers of students who have successfully submitted, and know from talking to my colleagues at the other 14 community colleges that Mount Wachusett is considerably ahead of where other institutions are, in terms of some are still developing their process. That's really my biggest report. That's really the only thing that we're working on, is trying to make that as smooth as possible. Questions? I'm happy to take them.
What was the number for the amount of people who have each submitted?
915 as of 4:30 today, Chloe. And 44 accommodation requests.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I guess. No, you can speak.
I was just going to say, in the time that we've been sitting here in our meeting, so 27 minutes or 17 minutes, I've had 7 more come through. I just haven't approved them yet. So they're coming in steady as we go. So.
All right. Candace is not here today. All right. Old business. All right. SGA food drive. Anything?
Yeah, I can just give an update. We've been pretty steady collecting food this week. I know Cody's been out there, Chloe's been out there, Daniel's been out there a lot. And we've also tapped into, we have the CAPS Collaborative Group, which is the Gardner High School, I forget what they call it, the occupational development course students, that they've been helping us out because we had a couple of times when we didn't have anybody. So yeah, so we've been doing pretty good. I know Ernest had come and he was a little nervous yesterday. He thought we weren't getting anything, but we've actually had quite a pretty steady flow. And there's been a lot dropped off at the food pantry and at the Brewer Center. So we're doing pretty good. So I think it's been a success.
Cody.
Yeah, this is more of an aside. I have definitely picked up a lot of things while being out there, and I didn't know Chef Boyardee came in like 60 packs. Someone dropped off an entire like brick of Chef Boyardee, and also, so I'm happy that people are thinking about that volume and bringing it in.
Virtual office coverage.
That's just a reminder to sign up and cover. I haven't looked, I don't know what the coverage has been, but that's all that is.
All right. SGA recruitment, anything about?
And that's just, I know, and I don't know if Stephanie she was going to create that list for everybody of all the clubs so that each of you could, divvy up the clubs that you could go to the meetings of clubs that you're not members of, that doesn't have an SGA member. And I don't know, I know I didn't see it, so I don't know if she sent something out to everybody, so that you guys could start reaching out to the various student organizations and letting them know that you're available for, anything they need, and the fact that we do have funding, if they're looking for funding. So, that's kind of I guess a work in progress, because like I said, I don't think that she did that yet. I know I talked to her on Monday and she was going to, but I haven't seen it. And the next one is the state. I don't know why that's even there. That's the committee meetings that you guys tomorrow would have been the meeting. So, and that's the last one for this semester. Actually, no, I think you have one in December. Maybe not. This might be the last one. But
Yeah, I
yeah, that was actually something I think her and I, so Stephanie and I do speak on Mondays to kind of get the agenda ready. And that was, I think this is what it was, is we kind of discussed the possibility of actually making those meetings every other week. So the opposite week of SGA meetings, as opposed to once a month, at least for the spring. So something to think about, so that, because as various clubs are starting to request funding, you're going to need to meet more often. So I think a lot of boards, governing boards, will have committee meetings the week before their regularly scheduled meeting. So I think that's the schedule we were talking about, something going forward, so that you would do a Kumho-based meeting the week before the regular SGA meeting, so that anything that had to then be approved at the SGA was ready to go. So that's what that was.
So that means we have our meeting tomorrow, right? Is it
Right.
tomorrow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been, so it is tomorrow, but there's there's no funding requests that came in, and there's no constitutions that need to be reviewed right now. So you technically don't have to meet. Except you guys, if you want to get together in Kumho space and chat anyways, you can.
Do you guys
But
want
there's
to?
nothing.
Oh no.
Promptu book club. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
mean, you
All
can
right.
talk about things going forward, and stuff that you want to talk about to get ready for the next meeting. So feel free to do that.
So
And I
what
can tell you-
time will we be? What time will we be meeting tomorrow?
I think.
Because I'll be at the SGA booth almost all day, which is fine. I can join from there, or I
think-
can step away for a minute.
I think Stephanie said 1 to 2 p.m.
because
that's what
Stephanie's going to be on campus as well. Like everybody's going to be on campus tomorrow at the SGA booth, so she and I can join.
Yeah.
Or we could meet in person if you all are going to be there. That might
Yeah.
be interesting.
I think
mean,
Cody's the only one that's not going to be there.
Who? Daniel?
Cody.
Oh, Cody.
Look, if you all pitch in now for some some cafeteria, I think you can convince me to show up.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
So, well, you guys decide if you're going to meet. You can talk about that afterwards or something. Just send out an email and decide if you want to meet tomorrow.
all right. So the next spring schedule, are we changing our schedule, right?
Right. It's once
then-
everybody has their courses selected, then we need to find a day and time that works best for everybody. So once you guys have your schedules finalized, we can start looking at dates and times. Or maybe what you should do is once you have your schedule finalized, send me an email so I can take a peek at them and we can start to come up with a potential date and time for the spring semester for the meetings.
New business. $100 worth of alum.
So
What is that?
I'll talk to this. I mentioned this to Stephanie on Monday when we met, and I mentioned to Cody today. I met with the student organization advisors on Friday to go over some stuff. And one of the things that they kind of requested, because the Winterfest, normally we know well in advance that we're doing Winterfest, and we kind of decided late. So a lot of the student organizations weren't prepared. And they usually spend $100 to $200 on their wreaths. So they would put in a funding request to request money to pay for some of that. So I suggested that maybe I could ask the SGA to do a blanket $100 to any student organization that is doing a wreath to help them offset the cost of that. So that just allows them to spend more money to put those wreaths together. And the nicer the wreaths are, the more money we're going to bring in for the student emergency fund. So, and that would just alleviate having to take in all those funding requests and have the Ways and Means Committee meet and to talk about it, because you're meeting tomorrow. SGA isn't meeting again for 2 weeks. By the time you would determine that those funding requests could be approved, it would be too late because the wreaths have to be in before that. So that's the idea on the table. If you want to make a motion and then have it seconded and then have discussion on that.
All right. I'll make a motion to what Kathy said.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I got I muted myself. Now you want to open it up for discussion.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it earlier, but now that I'm hearing it again, wreath or wreaths, Kathy? Is this a $100 wreath, or is it $100 to make wreaths?
No, so the wreaths, so I'll say it says, well, Daniel's the only one that has seen Winterfest before. So I provide a wreath to any student organization that wants to decorate a wreath. So the $100 would go towards the organization purchasing decorations and other things to go on the wreath. We highly recommend that they put high ticket value items on there, like $100 gift cards or a gift certificate for, like a family membership to the zoo for the year, something like that. So I've seen iPads in years past. Clubs have gotten a really good deal on an iPad, and they've included that. So most clubs spend in the vicinity of a couple $100. So if SGA gives each club $100, then they're only having to come up with $100 out of their expense, out of their budget. And then the nicer the wreaths are, the prettier they are, and the higher the ticket items on there, the more people are going to buy tickets to win them, and we make more money on the fundraiser. So, and I know, and the policy is right now that if a club is allotted $100, they then have to earn $30. I would suggest that this $100 be free and clear. And right now the SGA has $5,250, I think, that they can give to student organizations. They can be requested. We have currently 9 student organizations that plan to do a race. So at that would be $900 you'd be spending.
All right. Anything else? All right. Then let's move on to announcements. So our next SGA meeting will be December
You have
1st.
to vote on that, Ernest.
Oh, vote on it.
You
Oh,
actually have to vote, yes or no.
I would say yes.
You have to call for a vote. You have
Oh,
to say
call
all
for a
those in
vote.
favor. Yes, you have to call for a
All
vote.
right. All the all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Can I vote?
Aye.
Aye.
So that passes unanimously.
So can we move on? All right. Our next SGA meeting will be December 1st, 5:30 p.m. as always.
And I would just, as announcements, tomorrow we have an event, Armando Anto, if anyone is available at 3 o'clock. He's a comedian and a violinist, so a little culture and a little fun. So you can go ahead and tune into that. And next week we have, I know it's the night before Thanksgiving, but we have Jindo. So we've had a number of students that have been winning $25 Amazon gift cards playing Jindo. So if you're not cooking on Wednesday evening, tune into Jindo at 7 o'clock.
All right. I call this. Anything else? No. All right. I call this meeting to adjourn at 6:02.
Bye, Jason.